5 years, really, he's built an extraordinary reputation in, well, the county and now the state, going through San Mateo City, San Mateo County, on to Sacramento as a member of the Assembly and now Senator, of course. And he's really been a model of commitment to the public interest for a long time. And as far as the energy and talent and dedication he applies to his work on our behalf, and we all appreciate that very much. Just one of those people you always hearing good things about, and that says a lot. And we're very happy to have Jared here, so if you could please welcome Senator Jared.
Bravo, bravo.
Very kind of you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And do we need the microphone today? I don't know. Do we don't? Good. I think that works out great. And what a real pleasure it is to be here. When I walked in, it just felt like home. It really did, because we've been around for so many years together and seen you, and I don't know if there's a more active, more active, caring, sensitive club in the peninsula anywhere that really is involved and has been around for the length of time that you've been around. So it's wonderful to be here, and especially during this challenging time. It's important that we keep our faith, and that we know that everything isn't happening just in Washington, D.C. California is still the 6th largest economy in the world. We're still the greatest state, nation state, I guess you'd have to say, in the country, certainly in the world. And we've taken a very strong position in Sacramento related to what has been happening. We took early on, when we first saw the signs of trouble, in 3 areas we've made a commitment. 1 is in immigration, 2 is in the environment, 2nd, and 3rd is in the healthcare issue. Because we know those are the 3 areas that we are the most susceptible, and where the problems are most coming to us will be most aggressive. And so what we've done is we've really taken what I look at as, and I call it kind of an aggressive defensive position. And that's how we do it. From an immigration perspective, we have a number of bills that are in place now. You keep hearing, and we all hear that word sanctuary. I don't use the word. I don't think there's a definition that anyone understands or agrees to with what a sanctuary city is, or the comments about a sanctuary state. No one really has an idea. But what we do know, and what we are doing, is making sure that in the legislation that we're moving forward, that we do one thing, and that's to protect the due process, the rights of every resident in California. Because if you're here, regardless of your status, you have a right, and you have rights. And so we are going to protect those rights, and that means we have to provide legal counsel for you. We will do that. Where the challenge right now is at what level and to whom do we provide that to? And we're looking at those who have violent crimes we're not interested in doing, but how you define violent criminals is where the issue is right now in that legislation. But we want to provide everyone with the due process, because we know, and what we've seen, is the immigration and customs enforcement is not always concerned about someone's rights when they pick them up and drive them to the border and deport them. And we want to make sure that those rights are protected. The other issue that we're concerned with is how the federal government, through immigration, has come to rely on local government and state government to assist them when they do their business. And they assist mainly by helping when they do their operations. But most importantly and most expensive has been the use of our facilities. So they will use our jails and our prison to house those people that they are planning to deport, or what they're doing, at a cost to Californians. Last year it was $50-some million, and with the anticipated growth and increase in their activity, it's anticipated that it could be over $100 to $200 million this year. So we feel that that's money that we can't spend, shouldn't be spending on that, and so we have legislation that will not allow local governments to spend their money, their resources, our dollars, tax dollars, in assisting them in their process and what they are doing. We will notify The federal government, 60 days before the release of people that they are interested in, we will let them know of that. But we won't, we will release them at that time. If they choose to take them, they can. But if they ask us to keep them extra time, we would not do that. And we will ask, and the legislation would not allow local government to do it. In the environmental issues, as we've seen with the basic evisceration of the Environmental Protection Agency, we have our work cut out for us in a couple of areas. One in particular is the clean air waiver that we have had for 30-some years that allows California to kind of set its own pace. Our air is the dirtiest in the country, and it has been historically. We've cleaned it up because we've had those waivers, because we've required cleaner air, cleaner exhaust coming from the automobiles that drive, because that's the major pollutant in California. So we've been able to get a waiver from the federal standards, which allows us to have a little higher standards in order to meet our air quality problems. And that has been, Republicans and Democrats alike have, presidents and administrations have granted that waiver over the years. This is the first time that it looks as if that waiver will not be granted, and we're preparing now for legal action against the federal government on that basis. What we're also doing in other areas of the environment where we have relied on federal legislation and federal actions of the Environmental Protection Agency, what we're now doing is going to aggressively initiate and basically pass laws in California to make those same requirements state law rather than federal law, because they can eliminate the federal laws that they have because we've relied on them, but now we will have state law that will then take their place, and because of states' rights we will be able to do that. So that's another area where the EPA will be able to take a position. Healthcare is a little tougher issue. It's what we've seen with the repeal and replace, which is really slash and burn, as I see it.
Amen.
There's no way that I can see us meeting if it gets down to, if they do what they say they're going to do, I don't see how California can backfill enough to meet the current health care and insurance needs and use that is out there today. It would cost us about $18 billion a year, and that's something that we don't have extra. We would have to cut elsewhere to do that, and that's really where we will see the challenge in the next few years, is taking the budget, which is really a prioritization of our values, and taking that and looking at those dollars and seeing where we will have to now, because of the changes in Washington, where we will have to apply those dollars that will meet the needs of our population in the best way, as we, I believe, have to readjust our priorities based on those changes. So that will be a difficult thing. I just have to say, before I can continue on it, about the joint committee. I thought that was pretty funny that we were talking about it in terms of the marijuana legislation. That was pretty funny, right? But what it reminded me of is now with the new, starting January 1st, the recreational marijuana will be available and in the marketplace. There will be retail establishments, the licenses will be issued on January 1st. You can smoke it now, but as you know, we have Java with Jerry once a month around the district that I'm honored to represent. So you know where I'm going with this, Larry, don't you? So we're going to have joints with Jerry. Oh! Have a good time with that. I'm kidding.
All right.
I'm kidding with that camera.
That's all right.
But I thought it lightened it up a little bit after the seriousness of the depression of what we're talking about. So those are the things in the